right club. Be the right club today.
Johnny, that's better than most.
How about in?
That is better than most. Better than most.
Expect anything different?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another year of recaps on the No Laying Up podcast slash live show, brought to you by our friends at High Noon. Mitch Campbell already in the chat saying bang-a-lang. Solly is here. That is, of course, Neil on the ones and twos with his bang-a-lang button. Hello, Neil.
Gentlemen, good to be with you from bleak, cold, sleety New York City. DJ Pie, what a difference 12 months makes, baby.
You know, we're seeing a lot of shots out there in the telecast. Oh, that's where we were last year. Oh, remember? That's where Jordan hit it when we were out there. Remember? And then JT got up and down from there. Yeah.
He's about to hit the Father Damien ball off AT&T. Unbelievable. There's Molokai.
That was the voice of DJ Pie, as well as an expanded field this year at the Sentry. They moved to 59 players, and we are expanding our field as well to include Big Randy. This is a highlight event for him. Hello, Mr.
Used to be winners only. You know, now we got these guys sneaking in.
Hello, guys. Wonderful to be here. As always, thanks for having me on your program.
High Noon, of course, is back for another year of Live from the KillHouse. We greatly appreciated their support in year one, bringing these to life. We are doing even more of these shows in 2024. They seem to be a hit with people, and that's huge thanks to them. And they got not only are they back for a new year, they got new packs. You can sip on summer flavors in the middle of winter. Introducing the all-new High Noon Snowbird Pack, featuring the perfect mix of winter and summer flavors. The 8-pack includes 2 new flavors, raspberry and plum, alongside High Noon Classics Peach and Lemon. Of course, all made with real vodka and real juice. And the Snowbird Pack is a winter exclusive, available now through March, so get it before the ice melts. Track down the pack nearest you on Drizzly at your local convenience or liquor store. You can find all locations at highnoonspirits.com.
Quick question, Randy. I know you're a big fruit connoisseur. Where do plums rank?
You know, I don't. Yeah, it's a great question. You know, I'm glad we're starting there. Plums, I don't eat enough of them. You know, of course, they're great for the digestive system, keeping you on time and regular. It's a bit of a blind spot for me. I'm not gonna lie. I do not know the deliciousness and the joy of a wonderful plum. I'm sorry to admit that.
Neil, you're absolutely killing our ad rate per minute ratio here. After
I went, that was genuine curiosity for me. I mean, I think Randy, some homework for us. Maybe we explore the space.
Yeah,
you know, go get some
little Jack Horner on.
Yeah,
you know, start sticking your thumbs in some pies.
If you're so anxious to talk, then Neil, take us to Chris Kirk's one-shot win here at the Sentry. I know you're absolutely stoked over this.
I mean, one of the few guys left that works the ball right to left. I mean, just towering draws all day. It felt like he was picking up his tee at the apex. I want to give a shout out to Kisner. I thought he was excellent. That was a breath of fresh air on the broadcast. Chris Kirk, not the most exciting guy. He seems to manage his energy. Almost seems like he's half asleep, but that usually leads to pretty good golf. And he seems like a great dude. Imagine winning $3.6 million. You're living in Athens, Georgia. I mean, you know, he might have the cheat codes going right now. What's this? Is this his third win?
Oh, more than that.
This is his 6th win, actually.
6th win, excuse me.
First,
look that up before.
Just getting word this was, in fact, his
this one
his
counts for
PGA
3.
Tour win. Yeah, he won the Viking Classic, he won the McGladrey, won the Deutsche Bank, he won Colonial, and he won the Honda Classic last year. There was an 8-year gap in between that, the Colonial and the Honda Classic, but the dude can take it deep. I know he won the Corn Ferry event as well during the middle of COVID, the King and Bear Classic, right when they came back from COVID. He shot 26 under to win that and does this at 29 under par. Randy, you got a problem with the low scores at the Sentry? I know you do.
Nah, it is what it is. You got to expect it. I mean, par 73 plays a lot.
Why is it a par 73? It is not. Number 5 does not need to be a par 5. Just make it a par 4.
Listen, this is the season opening event. Everybody's on vacation. This is not the event where I get worked up about the low scores. That will come later in the year, I promise.
So I'm almost thinking they should, rather than making 5 into a par 4, maybe just make it like a par par 78. Like, take it the other way.
Oh.
You know, just like, because like with the wind, like it just changes all the time, right? Either 12 is going to be drivable, 14 is going to be drivable. Maybe you can sneak up on 3. Maybe you can get close to this one. So, you know, just take it the other way. It's par 78. Winners at, you know, 47 under par, 52 under par, something like that.
You could let guys declare their own pars
I like
beginning of the
that
week.
too. Yeah,
know?
that's interesting.
Because we're just counting shots at the end of the day. Let them play whatever par course they want to play.
We should set the par. This is like we did an office hours about this, and Wolfie was talking about how the British Open, they used to they would change the par every day. It was almost like surf conditions. They would just tell you
that.
You get your scorecard, like the par today is X. They should do that. Rolf should set the par based on where the wind is.
He might change it mid-round. You know, if the wind shifts around. He dropped a comment in there today. You don't get the wind direction they got today. You don't get more than 10 days a year out of 365.
Very rare. He was fired up about that.
Rolf rules.
Rolf
hey, can I say something about Chris Kirk? I saw a lot of people in the comments.
Absolutely not. Thank you.
We can move back to plums if you like. I saw a lot of people in the comments calling him the king of the mules. I resent that.
No,
guy's done way too much. I think he's become a pretty world-class player over the last couple of years. You know, I don't think he's a top 5 player in the world, but he's been a guy that has just been around. He's been very solid, top 30, top 25 guy in the world. And I know we're kind of almost bordering on the like Dustin Johnson can dunk. Dustin's been working on his wedges. Like the whole like comeback from alcoholism, depression is almost becoming like a one-line bio for him. But man, when you really like stop and think about that, I was thinking about it today. So, you know, we're all about the same age as Chris Kirk. He's maybe a little older, but thinking about like your career and your livelihood and kind of this whole thing you've really like devoted your whole life to, like almost being taken away from you at the age of 34, 35, not even taken away from you, I guess, just kind of like kicked away yourself almost is probably more how it feels. Like all of this stuff has to feel like such gravy to him to get this like second act in his career, to totally turn his life around and to like basically become like start playing the best golf of his life. I think that's a very, you know, would I have rather seen Sahith win? Would I have rather seen Spieth win? Sure. But the Chris Kirk story, I'm here for it, man. I hope he wins. Hope he wins 3 times this year. I every time he does, I'm happy to see him out there thriving. I love it.
That's well said, Deej. You know, we got a chance to interview him summer, I think, of 2020, right around that time, and kind of he was finding his game, and he was just kind of coming out with his story and what it was. And man, he details it really, really, you know, in some tough details in that about like what anxiety is like in terms of, I mean, the guy's made a boatload of money, like so much money playing golf already. And he would, you know, miss a cut and he would get in his hotel room and think like, I can't pay my bills this week. Like, and that anxiety would lead him to drink, and he'd just be drinking alone in his hotel room. And it just like started this spiral that was kind of out of control. And man, you never like would ever know that by watching somebody play golf on TV. And it was pretty vulnerable. You're right. It does kind of just become that everybody knows his story of recovering from alcoholism, but man, like listen to the details, and it's there's a lot to be gleaned from that. So
and there's a lot that's a lot different too. I mean, we talk about this on the pod all the time, but everything just gets flattened, right? Where you hear this like, oh, he's overcoming adversity, and that could mean, depending on those guys in the field, it could mean everything from like he hit it in a bunker on 18 last week to like his life almost became unraveled due to alcoholism and depression. And that all gets flattened into like, oh, he's overcoming adversity. And it's really worth, in my opinion, like stopping and, you know, double clicking, Neil, on the shades of gray contained therein on Chris Kirk and his story and how much different it is than a lot of the other guys out there. So I'm a big fan.
I would agree with you that he is definitely not a mule, but I wouldn't put him in the thoroughbred category. This is where we get into the dressage horse. The, you know, what is that in between? Might have to call on Cody for a ruling on what type of horse or horse adjacent.
I think he's just he's a working horse. You know, you saddle him up, you take him out, you take a look at your property, you check your fence lines. I mean, Cody knows all this stuff. You need.
Well, especially the year of reaping, right? Like, I mean, he's kind of a horse that just strap the plow to him, get him out there sowing some stuff.
If you're still doing your harvesting that way, sure. You know, you need horses that can just everyday horses.
So all your thoughts.
I was going to say something about winning on 2 different golf courses like Kapalua and PGA National. I'm guessing I haven't pulled it up here on Data Golf. I'm guessing the similarity scores of those two golf courses is not overly compatible. That's two very, very vastly different wins on two different golf
I'm trying to
courses.
think of somebody who's done both. Come on. You guys can come up with one. There's got to be somebody who's done it besides the cat.
Yeah.
I try to ignore Honda as much as possible.
And you know
Palm
what?
Beach
I'm
is
wrong.
invitational.
This is it is the 8th most similar course to the Plantation course in Kapalua. So it's just on like what kind of players
That might be a
succeed
data
there.
golf problem. Yeah.
No, it's like it's a correlation to like what players have success there. The style of the courses are vastly different, but it kind of rewards the same kind of stuff. But
one other thing I'll shout out, a lot of times they bring up the kind of special interest piece. Him playing lefty for like
So
2 straight
sick.
months, that kind of blew me away. I mean, to hook him up with TC. He's shot 82 lefty like back in the fall. Like I would love to know more about that. So
And
Stunting on TC.
and I want to get into NBC pulled that great video of him beating his caddy in the batting cage. You see that earlier?
Yeah.
That was great.
I missed that one.
his
That was
caddy
awesome.
had time to get out of the way of that one.
I
That wasn't
saw. I thought the same thing. I was
that
coming in at
wasn't
like
88. Yeah.
65. Yeah.
That looked like you and me when we were throwing
It
batting
did.
cages at Wrigley back in 2017. But dude, Kapalua, I keep saying this, Kapalua friggin' rules. And if you got a problem with the low scoring, I'm sorry, we just are two different people because it requires. And I thought it was the most elevated effort NBC gave to explain the details of each shot, right? Because it is not textbook shots out there. Everybody knows about the massive elevation changes, but all the considerations of the grain and the slopes and all this, and it helped just to have Kisner in the booth talking about all this stuff as well. But all of like the dividing line considerations of each shot were highlighted so well. And I don't know, I thought this was really good viewing. We were chatting before we came on. It sounded like you some people thought this was a bit of a snoozer, but I was for a golf nerd, I thought like they obviously the commercial load is a total disgrace. We don't need to rehash that, but felt like they upped their effort. And for as down as I was on this event on Wednesday's show, I really actually enjoyed watching that this week.
I don't disagree with anything you said. I don't think I said it was a snoozer. I said it felt like Rahm would have won by 4. Is what it felt like to me. And there's no way to prove that. There's no way to. There's no
now
way
that he's on live, he's a lot better. Yeah,
that's kind of what
I'm.
Well, this is the first time I think I'm going to reach across the aisle and kind of agree with some of them. I'll give them some fodder to use. I see you guys. I hear you. I feel for you. Rahm would have won by 4 this week. This is throw these results out. These don't even count.
Would he have
This
beaten
is an
Taylor
irrelevant
Gooch?
tournament? That's hard to know. Hard
Yeah.
to know that for sure.
But I don't know.
I want to. I got 2 things for Chris Kirk before I'm sensing we're going to go other places soon. One, very much enjoyed that his kids' names are Foster, Sawyer, and Wilder. Those are peak Georgia names. Neil, maybe some future the Marist School students among that group. They scream SAEs at UGA one day to me. But then also I wanted to ask you guys, one shot lead. This is where I think Kapalua is a little. This is my only nit to pick with Kapalua is if somebody has the lead going into 18, it's just such an easy hole. And I was going to say, what confidence interval would you guys place upon yourselves to hold a one-shot lead playing 18? Because I think all 4 of us could do it. I legitimately think that in my heart of hearts.
Oh, could do what? Could make a par when you need to.
Yeah, could make par.
I would worry a little bit about the grainy Bermuda.
Yeah,
third
that touchy chip,
that
third
touchy one
shot down the hill is
it's
No,
just
it
as scary to me as roping a 3-wood in from up top.
No, because you just can't skull it. You just got to chunk and it'll run out. I mean, you're gonna have at worst like a 20-foot putt. So I guess it's can you lag a 20-footer up there?
I
Randy,
think
I think that's fair feedback.
I think the biggest case against Kapalua would be like there's so many balls rolling down to the same spots.
Okay,
right?
Deej, I was gonna say the exact same thing. It's 15 is where it bothers me, where they like I
15 stinks.
No,
I wish there was a
15's
way.
cool.
No, it doesn't stink, but I wish there was a way for them to create a wider land, like flatten out a little bit more land down there so that within a 100-yard radius, if you catch that hill, like what happened, Spieth and Harris English's balls like end up like hitting next to each other in a divot. Like it just kind of, it's frustrating when there's just a magnet. Like when I'm playing golf on a course like that, I get a little frustrated by that when they all end up in the same 3x3 area.
7's kind of like that, right?
But I weirdly it weirdly works for me because it's like, all right, do you want to play from up top, or do you want to hit the shot that risks going into the right rough and maybe goes in a divot where everybody else is at, right? There's like a little strategy around like, dude, it might end up in a divot if you hit it down into that spot. I don't know. It's like a weird course. It's a weird, and that's what I like about it, because it kind of, as far as the ball goes out there, it kind of is not a course that's ruined by distance, because everything is just about it's a lot of half par holes, and it's a lot of like touchy wedge shots, but there's so many considerations that go into them that it's just not stock golf shots. That's what I love about. There's not. I'm trying to think of maybe number 2, the par 3, is the only like stockish golf shot I can think of on that course.
Yeah, I think that's right. I love watching it because it's purely unique and totally different than anything else. And I feel like it's I feel like we've said this before, but for like a mountain golf course, it's the best example of like mountain golf that I can think of, right? Because at a lot of those mountain types of golf courses, you have balls all funneling to the same direction. At least out there, you have enough width, solid, to where what you're saying on 15, like there is a dividing line between staying up top and coming down to the bottom. But it does kind of seem like those are maybe the only 2 options, right? It's like you're either going to be in A or B. There is no real like C.
And that's where, if there are a few more ledges where maybe a ball gets hung up here halfway down the hill. I know that maybe that sounds artificial. This is a nitpick. I mean, it's a couple holes, but they end up being, I don't know, holes that matter down the stretch. And kind of like what Randy's saying, you're seeing them in some ways. It's good. Like 18, you see the guys hit the same shot, which is an awesome shot.
Yeah.
But then on 15, it's not really an awesome shot. It's like, oh yeah, it's going to roll down to the right, and that's kind of boring.
Yeah, I totally agree. I agree.
I don't know. What do you guys think the scoring average was on the 5th hole this week? Allegedly a par 5.
like 4.2,
4.1. There were 174 birdies and 36 pars. It's a par 4.
Speaking of the birdies, I want to give a special shout out to Sungjae Im for making 34 birdies this week. Randy, how many did you make in your quest for your 2023 birdie quest for the year?
25 birdies and an eagle.
Eagle.
I don't know if Sungjae made any eagles. We could put our research team on that. But how does that make you feel?
Honestly, fine. It kind of gets back to like Sungjae. That's his job. He should be out there making birdies, right? Nobody's paying me to make birdies, so I think that's okay.
That's true. And he made no eagles.
So I got that on him. Yeah.
Do you guys think if I gave you 34 birdies out of 72 holes, what do you think, Neil? What do you think you shoot for the week?
If I started 34 under?
Yeah. And you only had to play 38 holes.
Okay. I think I finish at like minus 20.
That sounds about right. I mean, it's still like a 77 rated course. Like,
that's what I mean. Like, it's still a hard course. Like, I'm going to shoot 78,
yeah.
78 on a, like, if I'm feeling great out there. So
I feel like even par is a great bet. If
for Neil?
No, well,
so he's going to go 34 over in 38 holes? Shots fired.
Be the most like shocking thing in the world.
I mean, Neil,
I thought you had a little more confidence in me.
Did you guys watch those guys putt out there? They're befuddled by the greens.
Have you guys watched Strapped when Neil's under par?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, multiplied by
I didn't think this was coming my way. All of a sudden, I'm just catching strays in here. What's going on?
Neil and I alt shot birdied. We birdied 17 and 18 when we were playing alt shot.
That's true. I forgot about that. That was in a PGA Tour event.
I've got so much course knowledge too now after playing it once.
All right, let's move on. Sahith, I got my shirt on. I put it on for the back nine, and of course, it did not end up working out for my guy. But I have to take the words of Mr. Tagala here. I'm really, really proud of what he's accomplished for sure. Yeah. So this dude just seems destined to lose like 12 tournaments by just the hair, like the thinnest possible margin. A brutal lip out on 18 keeps him out of a playoff. Who knows? Kirk could have birdied obviously on top of him if he needed to. But
the juxtaposition of watching Jordan, Sahith, and Chris Kirk all come down the stretch was quite jarring, and led me to think, Neil, we were talking about it a little bit before, like Sahith might be destined for Jordan's crown of the best bad golfer in the world. Like it's there's some truly jarring shots that he hits. The tee
Which
shot,
I-
what was that, 13 or 10? One of the ones going up that hill was just horrendous. I think Kisner said he might have hit it off the hosel. It's like 5,000 RPMs a spin or something. It's just there's some bad shots.
But he's really, really touchy around the greens. Like
Yeah.
I enjoy watching his bad golf. He might be having whiffs of the kid.
That's interesting. Yeah.
You know, he's swaggy. Fans love him. You know, he's kind of wearing his emotions on his sleeve. He gets out of trouble after he hits a bad shot like that. Like
if
he's got
not
whiffs of
him,
the kid.
If not him, who? I mean, Tom.
Well,
Kim,
we've tossed around young Tom Kim, which I think is a total John the Baptist situation. I do not think he is the next kid, but he's been tossed around a lot. I think that would be the media telling you that. I think Sahith might sneaky be like the true kid.
How fun is it to watch Sahith play a golf course with wide fairways? Like it just where he could go be free, swing it. Like his drive on 17, he just looked about like Fred Couples level of tempo and looseness in that. Just absolutely wailed on it. I don't know. This feels like I was rooted. I thought we were going to get a Spieth Sahith, one of the two, because this is one of both from each of them, one of the best chances they have to win a golf tournament all year, right? Like the longer and more narrow it gets for both of them, the worse it gets. And the more it can be about creativity and creative shots and not just about, you know, the driving skill, then their chances to win go down. So it just feels like a missed opportunity for both of them. I mean, Sahith also shot 10 under today. So,
yeah.
Hey, Solly, speaking of that, do you have Tony Finau's average driving distance for this week? If there was ever a week where we could see the vaunted extra 40 that Tony has, why didn't he ever pull it up here?
what a random shot here. Is this over on
big
now?
smash,
He's
Tony.
probably
Let me
worried
see the
about-
big smash.
He's probably worried about hitting the hazard on 18. Big.
Well, you're talking about Sahith, you know, isn't it so fun to see him on these wide fairways? He can just grip and rip, and you can kind of
That's
hit
a
it
great
anywhere. I'm
take.
like, yeah, if we're not seeing Finau, you know, flying at 380 this week, what are we doing? What's he saving it for?
You don't need to fly at 380. Use the slopes out there. Come on. He was 6th in total in driving distance on all holes this week at 321.
Okay. So he's still not dipping into that extra.
I'm with
40.
Randy though. It'd be fun to see the big smash.
I wonder what he's saving it for.
I mean, he had 183 ball speed off the first tee today. Like that's getting it out there pretty good.
It may have been part of his negotiations with that other tour.
That's a
You
good
guys
point.
sign me, and I'll show you it. I'll show you.
We need to talk about, speaking of someone having an extra 40 in the tank, we have a new longest drive in the history of the PGA Tour, shot link era, hit by the pro Max Homa, 477. Any thoughts on that?
Did he make birdie at least? If not, we have to hit him with the made par though. That's the only possible response to that.
I missed this. What hole?
On the 7th hole.
This was the 7th hole yesterday.
Yeah.
Is that right?
So.
I can report he did make birdie.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, he hit it. I think when it was either playing downwind or hit the right spot of the hill or whatever. But that hole plays like 525, I think, and he hit it all the way down the hill. Hit it 477.
Hit 43 yards to the pin.
Edged Davis Love, who hit it, I believe, 476 on 18 at Kapalua in I forget what year, but that was the previous longest drive in PGA Tour history, shot link era, and now that belongs to bomb and gouge Max Homa. So our heartfelt congratulations.
That's sweet.
Yeah,
the disrespect. For
good bounce back for him this week. Kind of buoy tendencies. Not his best start, and just kind of kept steadily rising. I think he finished top 10.
T14 he finished, along with country music sensation Eric Cole, the validating, decisive, just putting Ludwig in a body bag.
I know.
Just
sophomore album sounds like it might be a chart topper.
That second record's hard to do, man. And to come back in your sophomore campaign is quite interesting. Ludwig shot 10 under to save some face today, but T47 out of 59 players this week, despite a 63 today.
People are asking if that's why TC called in sick. Cannot confirm or deny.
Have to ask. I would encourage you to tweet at Tron to ask that question.
What'd you think of the Spieth thrill ride? Is this a sign of things to come for Jordan in 2024? That's the year, right? Yeah.
What year is this? I I hope so. I mean, he putted it great, right? I mean, that's always the do or die. It seems like drove it. It kind of seemed like he at last glance was doing everything else kind of pretty average, but got some putts to go in. I don't know. It's hard to say with like a golf course like this. It's again, it's everything's super wide and it all kind of funnels to the same spot. So we'll see. Would love to see the next test. Love to see another proof of concept before we make any sweeping declarations, I think.
I'd love to get rid of those just like 3-foot misses too.
Sure.
Just maybe one of these days we're just not going to do that and, end up a shot or two from a playoff. So
Kiz kind of bottom lined it for him a couple times. Basically, like, just make it, man. What do you
hit
like,
it, man? What are you doing?
I'm taking so long.
Just hit it. Just make it. It's 3-footer. Just make it. That was painful. What hole was that on? Was that on 17?
I think it was on 15
or 15
yesterday.
That's right. 15. And he's crouched down behind. It's a 2-footer, 3-footer, crouched down behind it, stands up, backs up, goes and looks at it from the other side, comes back, crouches behind it, stands up, backs up, looks at it again, and then looks at the hole, misses the hole. It just awful stuff. And Kiz was.
So we know how grainy those are, though.
That's what I'm saying. You think you're gonna just make all those 3-footers?
I don't think I'm gonna miss 34 of them.
I want to preface this with I do believe that Jordan and Justin can read the greens at Kapalua a lot better than we can,
for sure.
What did you have any reaction of how dramatic some of their reads were on some of these, like 2 and 3 footers are like, oh, this is outside the hole, and I'm like, I don't know if this is outside the hole. It seemed like they really wanted to read a ton.
They were taking it very like the grain was on their minds, like they were insisting on what a factor it was. So listen, I'm gonna take their word for it.
I would tend to as well. It just was shocking of like, you want me to hit this outside of the hole? Anyways, but quick note here before we move on. This episode is, of course, brought to you by our friends at Titleist, the #1 ball in golf and the overwhelming #1 ball on the PGA Tour. This week in Maui, the 2024 season started with 41 players in the Sentry's 59-player field teeing it up with a Titleist golf ball. That is more than 5 times the nearest competitor. Jesus. And when the final putt dropped Sunday at Kapalua, it was a clean sweep of the top of the leaderboard. Pro V1 and Pro V1X players claiming the top 4 positions and 7 of the top 8. When I think about what we've learned about the golf ball over the last year and whatnot, and all the things it can do, I do think of a place like Kapalua where there are so many different shots required, especially wind-related shots. I think about the shot on 11. Like, if you are playing a golf ball that does not spin the way you're expecting it to spin, it is nearly impossible to get your distance right on that specific golf shot. So I truly do think that there's a reason why 41 of 59 of these guys are trusting the same golf ball or a variation of the same golf ball to play in competition at a golf course like that, because the consistency in the wind has been is a huge focus of all the things they do in their testing. And I think, those numbers kind of speak for themselves. So head to Titleist.com to start the process and find out which golf ball is best for your game.
It's a pretty irrefutable number. 41 out of 50.
They should just do that for the copy one of these weeks. Like, hey, 41 of 59, move on to the next topic, which is, DJ, I'll let you handle this one, because I think this could become your blood sport for 2024, is watching this one particular player try to get the golf ball in the hole.
Yeah, I didn't know where we were going. I wasn't looking at the agenda, but that obviously tips it. Let me preface this with all the normal prefaces. I have nothing against Scotty. Scotty seems like an absolute great guy. He's, I think, by far the best player in the world. But man, is it rich and compelling to watch him hit 4, 5, 3, 2-foot putts right now, because it just feels like, I don't know, man. It just feels like a Greek myth or something, Dorian Gray type stuff. Like, I'll give you everything you want. You're just going to have to struggle over these 3-footers. I'll let you can hit every green for all I care. Hit every fairway. You could shape it. You can hit the driver low. You can hit the driver high. I'll give you all the shots, man. But you're going to rip your hair out because of these 4-footers. And I don't know what that is. Golf right there. That's why golf is the sport it is. It's like, it is. You cannot just do one thing and go win the tournament. It also, I haven't checked the updated numbers, but I was thinking about it last year, and they said it again on the broadcast today. how much like it's always so funny that like whatever Scotty's negative strokes gained putting is how many he loses by, like almost almost every single week. It's always like, oh, he's he's minus 4.5 this week on the greens, and he's 5 back, or he's 4 back, or whatever. And it's just awesome. Kiz's whole thing, I don't know if that was right or not, like the whole shoulders being open, feet being closed, or feet being at the target, shoulders open, the same way. I believe he said like he lines up to a putt the same way he lines up to a drive. The problem is like you can't hit a cut with your putts, so that's why he's either pulling or pushing things. I would have to think, just to flag this, I gotta think Phil Kenyon's probably good at looking for that stuff as well. I gotta think that's probably something he's noticed, if that's a recurring thing. But I don't doubt that that's maybe part of what was going on today. But yeah, can't look away. It's reaching Zalatoris levels, right? Like, it doesn't look yippy.
Oh, come on.
No, just as far as like how much I'm leaning forward in my couch when it comes on screen. Like, it's awesome. It's a big highlight, and I know that seems cynical or negative, but like in the times in which we're living with, this bleak state of pro golf, the telecast is always awful. Like, I gotta look for something that's gonna really make me glue my eyes to the screen, and right now it's Scotty's putting. So I'm sorry for him, but that's the way it is.
The DJ, I could not co-sign that anymore. It's like the putts don't look bad though.
No,
and
exactly.
Even seeing it up close at BMW, I watched them, for 12 holes, and it's like they're high side, they just don't go in. They just never go in, and he's just, endlessly flummoxed by it. I think we're gonna find out if he's gonna be, is Scotty an ESB? Is he gonna be an emotionally strong boy this year? Because I think you're right. He's gonna start. Shout out to TC. He's trying to raise some ESBs.
Yeah.
Like, this could be very difficult for him. Are we gonna get a freak out like at some point? Solid. Do you think we're gonna get a freak out?
Probably at some point. I've decided though I'm going to do like what he does, which is like pretend it's not an issue, and I'm just going to deny it all the way down. Like, I think he looks better actually. I think his putting actually looks a lot better. I really do believe that. Whatever the new putter he's got, and yeah, I'd be curious his reaction to Kiz's comments. Like, I'm wondering if I wonder if that's something they work at in practice. But when he gets into competition, he has a tendency to want to open his shoulders to the line. But I don't know. It did actually look better at times. I know his numbers were not very good over the weekend, but he putted well the first couple of days, and it is a weird course to putt on. So I feel like it's going to be. In my predictions for the year, I said he's going to end the year with positive strokes gained putting, and I'm going to still ride with that despite a tough opening week where he was 45th of 59 players in putting this week. But
I think you're right. I think that's a good flag to throw. So is that Kapalua is a weird place, especially for short putts, like weird grainy stuff. There's a lot of foul tips going on out there, I think, but it's watch this space, because if he slays the dragon and he totally fixes it, and he, just runs away and hides as the best player in the world, and he wins 5 times, like, got to take your hat off to that too. But I'm here for either one. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, the Bermuda's finicky, but hey, we're going to POA pretty soon, right? An attitude grass, DJ.
Grass.
Like, and I don't know if he's got a good attitude right now. And so,
I mean, who's got a better attitude though? I think that's what Solly's saying. Like, it all seems to roll off his back, man.
That's his whole thing.
How can that happen for so long? It's been like a year and a half. How can that just keep
happening? It's not even been a year.
I don't know.
Yet.
The strokes gains chart does not look great. Like, from basically the beginning of last year, it looks just a downward gradual. Maybe a 2-degree decrease there. Not good.
It's so sick.
Deej, what did you think? I think they were talking about it maybe Thursday or Friday. I forget. Early in the week, the announcers were making a big deal. You of course are a process maven, and they were talking about Scotty. The 2 things every week. He just needs 2 things. He has to go in feeling like he's prepared, and then he has to have a good attitude, and then, come what may, it's a successful week for him if he can have those 2 things. I actually kind of dug that. Keep it simple. It's why I think this putting thing, I'm not sure if he's going to have a freak out. I think, he's just trying to stay positive.
But I think, Randy, that to me is what makes it so interesting. Is like, I totally agree with that. And I think that's what he's done for the last year. right? Is show up and accomplish those two things, and it's led to a bunch of wins. He was player of the year. He's the number one player in the world. All this stuff, and how long can that keep going? How long can you keep showing up with the positive attitude as these Greek gods keep punishing you in these unforeseen ways? It's so entertaining.
You guys want to hear something grotesque? I just pulled up his last 25 starts on his Data Golf page. Not once in his last 25 starts has he had a tournament where he lost strokes off the tee or with approach. Not one single tournament has he not. And he has only lost strokes around the green in 3 tournaments out of the last 25. So of those 75 possible opportunities to go green or red, he is 72 of 75 in making those green. Now in putting, he is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 positive putting weeks out of 25 in his last 25 starts, not counting this week.
Man. And still 20 of 25 on top 10s?
Dude, really, this may take a while, and I'm sorry. I'm going to go back to November 6, 2022 and read you his results because it's still absolutely ridiculous. T3, T9, second, T7, T11, win, T12, T4, win, fourth, T10, T11, T5, T2, T3, 3, T4, T3, T23, T31, T2, T6, win, and this week was T5.
And this is the best part, I think, is Randy, to your point about attitude and showing up. He gets home from those tournaments, and I'm sure Meredith is like, man, that's a great week. You finished third. That's awesome. Way to go. You're killing it. You're so consistent. This is so impressive. How does he not just lose his mind after all of those start to run together and he just isn't winning? It's just, God, it's awesome. I can't think of anything like it, honestly.
I think he's totally fine. I don't even know what you guys are talking about.
Well, I would say
the other thing. Sorry, Neil. That's what I'm not here for, is just pretending like this is not a thing.
I'm with you, D.
No, not us. I'm talking about him. That's the one thing that I can't abide by because or maybe Randy, maybe that's part of the process, and we'll see whose will breaks faster here. But as soon as he keeps showing up, just I don't know what you're talking about. No, I'm not really concerned about it at all. No, I don't even think about it. Is that I can't really, I don't know how long I can do that.
I am happy to see that Ted Scott's not behind him reading putts anymore, because I do agree with, not that he's a bad green reader, but you gotta, I think at that level you gotta pick your line and go. And if you start blending opinions and stuff, I thought that was kind of clouding his putting last year. So we'll see what happens with that.
He had some interesting comments before the week started. He said, last year my ball striking was obviously very good and my putting wasn't as good as I think it needed to be, which I believe we can confirm. Just checking with the sources that does check out. He says, some years it's my diet, some years it's been some time I want to put in the gym. One year it was creating different shots, and this year kind of emphasis was placed on putting. I put in a lot of work with Phil over the offseason, and I'm excited. I saw a little bit of the fruits of that at the Hero. I had a nice putting week, and I feel like the ball's coming off my blade really nicely now, and I'm looking forward to coming out this week and seeing where I'm at.
I think
he's at least talking about it, and at least says this was a focus.
Yeah, there's no way in no world in which he would ever do this, nor should he. But man, I just want to hear about it. I just want to hear about what they've tried, what's going on behind the scenes. What are they working on? How is he actually feeling? How's he actually thinking about this stuff? I think that might be if a genie gave me, you can have 8 beers with a tour player and ask him any topic. I think that's where I'm cashing in my chips right there. I can't get enough of it.
He went to my favorite excuse for good ball strikers that can't putt very well, of when you're hitting the green a ton of times and you're putting from between 10 and 15 feet, you can't really control what part of the green you're putting it on. So you're probably leaving yourself one of the harder putts. It's not like the dudes that miss greens and are chipping nearby leave themselves the easiest putts, because you're in a little bit more control where you could leave it. But I was interested to hear him say that.
Sure.
Can we zoom in on the Kisner thing?
Other players don't seem to say that, but
yeah,
they don't hit as many greens. That's the whole point.
That's true.
No, thank you.
That's the point. Can we zoom in on the Kisner thing? Because I was a little apprehensive of this, just because I mean, I'm a fan of Kisner. I think he's a fantastic personality, and I was a little worried it was going to be a little hamming it up too much. Not necessarily out of Kisner, but more amongst co-hosts, like really trying to egg him on and just like overly laugh at everything that he says as if it was really outlandish. But man, was he just super measured and gave great quips and insights, a little story about each guy, but a little bit of technical stuff mixed in too. Like on Friday when he was on for the first time, I think it was, he was talking about what made Brian Harman a really good chipper. And he's just, I mean, watch how fast he hinges his wrists right here. And like, does great. And I was like, whoa, man, like that is a really good nugget. Like I watch golf all the time. I don't ever think about these factors. I need somebody to explain that to me. And man, to just have somebody that has relationships with all these players. His Max note was fantastic about when he was helping Max with his putting at some point. And he's like, well, yeah, you aim wrong. You don't aim where you say you're aiming, and then you don't aim it. You don't hit it where you're trying to aim. So yeah, it's a tough combination.
That is good
though. And his nugget about Cantlay came up to an hour and a half before the President's Cup and was like, hey, give me a lesson on putting on Bermuda. He's like, oh, okay, well, shit. I don't know. I thought that was about as good of a vibe in the booth as you could imagine. Kurt Byram and him are a good combination too, just in kind of golf nerding it out, and Smiley being on the ground as well. That was as hard as we've been on NBC. That was a very, very, very strong step in the right direction. And I know he's not done playing, but the more we can hear of Kiz in the booth, the better.
I actually think as you were saying that, I was kind of thinking about it. I didn't love the idea of at first. I didn't love the idea of, oh, they're only having him here, and Phoenix, I think, is the other one that he's doing. And like, are we going to get any consistency and yada, yada, yada. And seeing that and just hearing what you were saying about having a nugget about each guy and whatever, I think it's easy to run through those nuggets really fast if you're doing it every week, to the point where I almost, this is half baked, but like, I would almost think NBC maybe should just get like a rotating cast of dudes, like taking the pressure off of somebody signing up to do 25 weeks a year or whatever it is. Like get guys on 3, 4, 5 week stretches and kind of rotate them in and out. I know that's tough from like a production standpoint, and not all the events are quite as laid back as Maui or whatever. But when you have them in the tower like that and talking so much, like, dude, that's a big lift on these guys, just as far as like not saying the same things over and over, not falling back into like, oh shoot, if he was playing me, he'd make this one, which is like a little too clearly, which is clearly, but that's what I mean, is like, that's probably the fallback, right? Because he just has to be talking all the time. I almost wonder if they should just get multiple guys in there and like get you get 5 guys and maybe you get 5 times the stories and insight, and who knows? Worthwhile experiment for sure.
Just depends if you can get 4 other guys that are good at it, or else it's going to be tough on the, you're gonna be like, well, just bring Kisner back, right? If somebody's not as good.
Sure.
This is such a good idea, DJ. I remember when Joel sat in for one of the matches or the Netflix Cup or something like that. I think he would be perfect for this, and like just literally forming the stable and rotating people through, figuring out how it works with their schedule and making sure that they're fresh, because it is extremely hard to have like fresh takes week in, week out.
Even bring him in Thursday and Friday. I mean, Solly, a lot of that shit you were just saying that came from like, I believe like the Friday broadcast when they had him in for like a short period on Friday. Like even just something to spice up those, those rounds. Cause like he was great today. I loved having him, but I think that's weirdly like Sunday is almost the last time you need him, when like the drama is kind of the drama, and it's, Chris Kirk or Spieth or Sahith, like let's just let the golf play out. But I think Thursday, Friday, it's hard to find a reason to watch with the current commercial load, with all the things we've been talking about for a year and a half. It is a hard sell to get me to like sit down and watch, and a player or somebody with a lot more insight would really help.
I loved him today, though, man. He brought the right kind of I don't know what the word is, but he would just, I remember him teeing up Kirk's putt on 16. I mean, it was just like the right amount of drama of like, he's gonna put this right in the back. Yeah, he didn't, but it was kind of like that kind of lead in and anticipation is just, I don't know. I was, and he didn't do an impression of an announcer. Like he was just himself, and I don't know. I thought that was a really strong step.
Yeah, and it seemed like good chemistry with John Wood too. When they're
Smiley.
Wood, give me a read here, and there's a little bit of player caddy dynamic with that, which is cool. I feel like CBS was doing a pretty good job of this last year when they would bring in, like, they brought in Rahm. I can't remember which tournament, and he ended up like staying on for like an hour, 45 minutes, and just kind of giving his insights to Nance and Immelman. I think DJ, I agree with you. There's probably some different ways you could just get current players that maybe aren't playing quite as much. Like, yeah, fire them up for, on a rotating basis.
Max would be sweet. I mean, just when you finish a round, go in the booth. It'll help your pip rating. It really will. But
sure.
A couple other things for NBC. I thought the graphics were really good with the elevation stuff. And the commercial free thing at the end is awesome. And I just don't understand why we can't do that graphic where they were popping up the Callaway, like the kind of screen takeover. Why can't we do that to replace a commercial? I almost think it's more valuable to the sponsors. You could
stop giving them this idea, Neil.
Well, I'm saying
no, this is what they're going to do.
It's not that intrusive, and it's better than playing through. Like, I don't need to, I drove all night. Like, I don't need that in my ears every 15 minutes.
We've said this a bunch too about, like, particularly with the title sponsors, when you go on and you see how much of the TV ad inventory is for the title sponsors. Like, Sentry Insurance is, yes, they're doing this title sponsorship for part of that, but a lot of it's entertaining clients. A lot of it is like the being on site. A lot of that stuff, like, God, if they took half their TV ad inventory out, they would, like, nobody would notice a difference. Right. And it just gives you so much more golf back and so much more chance to do on-screen stuff, like you're saying, Neil.
But the only way that's going to go is they're just going to do that in addition to the current ad load. They're not going to take away ads. Like, they're going to see that as a green light of, like, oh, we could just twist this in here as well and do it on top of everything else we're doing. That's the only way NBC would ever do that. So that's what I'm saying. Don't give them any ideas. But I will say it looked like they stepped up their give a shit a little bit this week. Better camera angles. The drone stuff was really good. The plane stuff was really good. All their stuff they did on Lahaina as well. And the obviously of the tragedy that happened there, the disaster that happened there 5 months ago, and kind of all the stuff that Sentry is doing, all that was working. I don't know. It seemed like for as not optimistic as I was about them going into this year, it was a nice start to the year. So
I want to shout out my guy, the CEO of Sentry, Pete McPartland. That guy was an absolute electric factory on the screen. I would even consider him for one of those rotating analysts. Codeman, you were going to flash it. Good time to mention. We had talked about it in the preview, just what an opportunity it would be for the tour, some guys to highlight the actual charitable work going on, in part because of the horrible fire not that long ago. And I did think the Colin Morikawa angle was interesting. On his Instagram, he shared, he went and worked at this local farm. But I think more than that,
he's trying to sew.
Yeah, he is sewing. I didn't realize Colin's parents were from the area. His grandparents were born there, so just kind of tied it in. He hit the first tee shot Thursday morning. So it was a big week for Colin, and nice to see him at least getting out into the community and kind of embracing and highlighting some of the charitable work that goes on. And I should say, I poked fun at the Sentry CEO, but it really does seem like Sentry has made a huge effort in and around that community. So good on them as well.
I didn't think you were poking fun at him at all. I thought that was a genuine.
He was electric. I did like him.
Sentry seems like an awesome tournament sponsor. I hope the tour doesn't, bone them and like try to jack the rate up. And they're like, we're not going to do this anymore. Because they seem like they're pretty easy to work with.
I wonder how that's going to go, Neil. I
know. I'm worried.
It should be.
Would love for you guys to come see the flower hole in Stevens Point, Wisconsin at Century World. It's a sight to behold.
We touched on this first reported by No Laying Up on our Wednesday happy hour show, but Jon Rahm and his family were vacationing on Maui, around the resort, near the resort, at the resort, over this past week, which was eventually picked up on by the crooked mainstream media. But did you call this one of the most sociopathic moves of our time? Do you
maybe a bit of an exaggeration, but just I feel like there's a lot of people looking at this as like putting themselves in Jon Rahm's shoes, which is, that's a great function of human empathy in most cases. But I would say most people didn't just sign a $600 million contract. And that's kind of more where I was coming from, is like, hey, I know a lot of the players in this field have been working really hard to, try to keep the PGA Tour together and try to, going out of their way to try to go to meetings and try to, bring in other investors and really try to like take control back for the players. But I'm going to go like the total opposite direction. I'm going to sign this contract with the people you guys are fighting against. And I'm just very publicly, I'm going to put the Letterman jacket on. I'm going to do the whole thing. And then like anybody who thinks like, oh, what's the big deal? Like he was just like going on vacation has never been to like this tournament. There's what, Solly, 17 other people there at a time. Like you run into everybody everywhere constantly. And by reports, like, I don't know if they're like beating up the tournament staff for like hotel, like dinner reservations and stuff, just like really weird, really weird stuff. And so I would think if you just came into hyper generational wealth, like maybe eat that deposit and
no, Deej, this
go
is the
somewhere
perfect,
else.
This is the perfect example of the pros. They're just like us. It's like, no, man, we got it
already.
Yeah,
it's already booked.
You just want me to eat it? There's no refund policy.
A cancellation policy. We're outside the window. We're going.
The only thing I could
get on the plane. We're going.
The only thing I could think, Neil, is if it's hard as a small business owner operator to get days off for the butcher shop. To if you have you have a backfiller, you've told your customers we're going to be closed on these specific days. It's hard to move that around, I guess. But I thought that's very weird. Am I the only one?
No, Deej,
Okay.
it was extremely weird. Yes. And as it was reported, who was it? Fergie or maybe Dylan DeChair had a tweet about, some mixed reactions with Rahm running into guys. They didn't name names, but yeah, I don't know. It struck me as very weird as well. You definitely are not alone there.
Can also report not all cool with all the players. Trust me on that one. It is not all cool.
I think it'd be like the prototypical, like you see Rahm there, and it's just like if ever there was a time for just like a cool man, like I think guys should just be hitting Rahm with a cool man all week. Like, oh hey guys, I ended up coming. Yeah, the family. It's like, oh cool,
out
man.
by the pool, hanging out, having a daiquiri. Good luck out there, guys.
What'd you guys make of Jay Day's new fit?
Oh man,
I'm gonna probably stand down on this one.
Let me put it this way. I think
direct all comments to Tron Carter.
I think it's accomplishing exactly what it's supposed to. Getting us to flash a picture of his pajamas up on the screen right here. I mean, I think they're going for the baggy look, but like, I don't know, just with the DeWalt and the motive, there's just a lot of weird stuff going on. Just across his sponsorship.
I think this is not directed at anybody in particular, and I'm happy to be a whipping post for people who don't like this take. But there's a big like group of like the streetwear golf's getting cooler, and you just need to accept it type of people that are like just really, I don't know if they might be trying to convince themselves at this point that like this is really happening, and anybody who's mad at it, like you need to just take that shit elsewhere. This is coming. If it is, like, I don't know, Cody, if you want to put that back up, it looks very stupid to me, but well, what do I know, right? Like, you don't have to listen to me, but I feel like that's not it, to borrow a phrase, and I'm happy that they're out there trying it though. Good.
He had the like lunar pants on today, like lunar gray. Looked like he was gonna land on the moon. I don't know. It spices things up. It doesn't offend me. I mean, I'm not gonna. I wouldn't probably wear what he's wearing. It's not making me want to go buy Malbon clothing, but
I don't think the offense is not what I'm worried about here. Right. Does it look good? No, it flat out doesn't. Like I know part of the goal is, and I'm out on the whole vibe of like, well, you're talking about it now, right? See, made you look. You looked at the ad bench.
A lot of blue in there for you, though, Solly. I'm surprised you'd be so out on it.
I mean,
it just whiffs of the hoodies on the golf course 2.0 to me. It's just like, God, people are so mad about these hoodies, man. They're so mad. They're so mad that people are wearing hoodies, but they're just going to keep doing it. Like, I don't think nobody's mad. Nobody cares. Like, they're just fucking stupid pants. Like, I'm not mad. I just think they look dumb.
I just, at a certain, like, maybe he does. Jason, do you enjoy looking like this? Like, is this what you want to look like into your late 30s? And if you do, that's fine. But if not, like, isn't there an amount of money that you've made in your life that would like make you want to say, like, no, I want to dress the way I want to dress?
Right.
That'd be my question as it relates to this. But
maybe I
just don't get it. Maybe I'm old.
I bet Dash is like, it's what all the kids are doing, Dad. You should.
Are they though?
get on board.
But he's also old.
Dash
know,
is
Which
do you know
makes it
how old
funny.
Dash
It's
is?
45.
That's why I think Dash has some influence on this.
Yeah.
I measure the passage of time by how old Dash Day looks.
I will say, here's maybe the last thing I would say. If Minwoo Lee was wearing that, I think I would feel differently. I think I'd be like,
Maybe.
fuck, okay, that's interesting. Because like I think there's something just aspirational about fashion when you see somebody wearing something that like, man, you know what? I couldn't do that. There's definitely no way I could do that.
I feel that way about Adam Scott as well. When he does these crazy tonal palettes with Uniqlo, I'm like, man, I could never pull that off. But he's like
Jason Day is not that
guy in the world.
Jason Day is like, oh, that's what I would look like if I wore those pants. Like it just looks dumb.
Who would be the funniest to wear that outfit? That like his fit. Who would be the funniest guy? And is it Rahm? Because it might be Rahm.
or Sepp Straka.
That came to mind for me too. That's funny.
Like, kind of like a callback to Leash and all the like horrible Izod stuff he used to wear.
Brendan Todd.
Brian Harmon. That'd be pretty funny. Probably.
That would look kind of cool. Look like a cowboy.
Like, can you picture like Spieth wearing something like that?
I kind of wish Spieth would, because I think like his shirt today from Under Armour, they continue to like.
What's going on with the collar? What
they're doing to our beautiful boys is a disgrace. It's an American tragedy, really. The stuff that they've dressed in for the last 10 years. It's truly like 5th grade picture day on repeat. It's just not. It's not good enough. It's not good enough.
Cleaning up the rest of our PGA Tour news, Victor Hovland has split with short game coach Joe Mayo. Don't really know. Victor did not want to get into the details of that. I believe he told Todd Lewis. Don't really know. Obviously, don't know any details because he didn't want to get into it. But that was very interesting considering the enormous leap he made in his short game. But interesting. Of course, the clip of him sculling one over the 14th green out of the bunker made its rounds after he agreed to part ways with Joe Mayo. But don't know another story here, but that one might be worth keeping an eye on. So
there's a weird thing that's going on just in sports writing culture, or at least in golf, because I feel like in other sports, like this story would just get found out, and in golf, it just never will. People are like, I don't know. I guess he doesn't want to talk about it. Like, well, like, and it'll just like, go away forever. Like imagine if, whatever. Imagine if some quarterback like splits with their quarterback coach, like that guy's kindergarten teacher gets tracked down. And golf is just like, I don't know, man. I guess I don't know.
That's exactly back to your Scotty Scheffler. What have you been trying putting? Hypothetical conversation. Like if in other high profile sports, if like the best player in the league is really struggling with one facet of their game, they're going to be asked about it every day. We're going to get a story out of it.
I don't know. I mean, he's trying. Like, what do you want him to do? He's trying. I think it's getting better.
Can I give you my total guess on this whole situation? Could not be less informed. This couldn't be more anecdotal either, but Mayo's he followed Hovland around like attached at the hip, like really, really tight, following him every step of every practice round and all around the range and all that, like to an uncomfortable degree from every time I saw it. And I saw him once of the players when Victor was making the turn, and he was just like up on the rope line, and he's like, "Come on, Victor, new 9, like screaming at him as he went to the 10th tee. And I was just like, oh, this is a weird vibe here. And I just wonder if that had eventually gotten to Hovland, but we'll never know, of course, as you mentioned. So,
which, listen, hand up, like, should we as the fake news media be working on these things? Yes, we should, and we'll effort that. We have a place to do that as well. It's not like that's all on everybody else, but
and I would also say shout out to Joe. I mean, he did good work with him, so hopefully the chipping remains good this season. But what a turnaround story.
Deej, why don't you take us to another Hawaiian island this past weekend, where I think the luau is about to start here in a few hours, actually. But TC was all worked up about this past week.
This was a true must credit TC, I believe, from the desk of Tron Carter. But I hope I get this right. It wasn't officially. I think he tweeted about it, but the PGA Tour has to do a rookie orientation every year for all the new players, and this year they chose to do that at the Sony, which in most years would be no big deal and would be a great place to do it because everybody gets into the Sony. It's it's got room for all the players in that category. This year, I forget what the exact numbers are, but isn't it something like 13 of 27 or something don't get in?
Like I think only 13 or 14 of 30 got in of the Q school grads and the 25 Corn Ferry grads.
Which means that all those people who did not get in have to fly to Honolulu to go sit in a conference room for this meeting the day before, then going to play the Monday qualifier to try to get into the event. I'm sure there's a reason. I'm sure the tour would be happy to provide a number of, justifications for this. I believe they did cover their economy travel to Hawaii to go do this. But man, just take 3 steps back and just look at the big picture here. Probably not what the rookies want to be doing is flying to Hawaii to go sit in this conference room. I think we saw the schedule. It was like 9-10 hours of meetings or something. And a lot of this is like media training and,
where does the money come from?
Where's the money come from? Where's the money go? PGA Tour 101, like how does the business work type of like pretty bureaucratic stuff. And then I believe there's a luau that starts just about now in the afternoon. Just a really peculiar decision. I don't know if there's something in the bylaws that like they would have to do this before the first event or something. I don't know why you wouldn't wait until next week at the Amex when I'm guessing most like all of these guys get in, but just a really weird situation all the way around. I don't know if you guys had any more thoughts on that.
It's a real good microcosm of just how just unsustainable. It's inefficient. What are we doing? Like why fly everyone in the middle of the Pacific when we could wait 1 week? What are we doing?
Or why didn't we do this like in Jacksonville like 2 weeks ago? Or 3, you know what I mean? 3 weeks ago. Like I don't know. I mean, I guess I don't remember when Q school was. That was like mid-December. Why not do it like the Monday after Q school? Oh, you got your card, like just linger for another day. We're going to do this orientation. I don't know. It just seems like not a good decision. But
maybe I would guess they're probably looking at it as, oh, I mean, we're paying you for you to come out and do your Monday qualifier, basically. And what would have been an expensive trip now is paid for by the tour, I guess. But like, I don't know,
sure.
But a huge flaw in like all this stuff is like there is no week where everyone's all together. Like there just isn't one. Like that's just not how professional golf works at the highest level. And I don't know how this typically works. Is this a new thing that they do, or is it always this week and just everyone is in the field at Sony?
I don't know.
I don't know the answer to that. So,
like, couldn't they video conference? Am I missing something? Yeah.
That would be my first question as a rookie.
Guys, I'll just dial in.
Do you guys have Zoom?
Yeah, share the link with me.
Yeah. Turn his camera off.
Yeah.
This was from Andrew Pantazzi on Twitter. He had released that a Jacksonville federal judge ruled today that Patrick Reed will have to pay Brandel Chambly and new outlets, I'm supposed to say news outlets, who he sued for alleged defamation when he was criticized for his involvement with Liv. The court found Reed brought the meritless lawsuits in order to stifle free speech. Mr. Klayman has made it very clear that they will be appealing, of course, but absolutely shocked to hear that this claim was meritless and that they will have to be paying the attorney fees of all the people they tried to sue. So
this is going back to our awards that we did on, the preview pod. Larry Klayman, first half all-star, trying to, he's now gone he's gone 11 hitless games now, Randy, and he's out there talking afterwards. I'm like, no, don't worry, I'm close. We're gonna find this. But it's just you can't argue with the results, man. There's just no production.
No.
And
at the risk of catching a lawsuit, I'm not really in a big mood to comment on any of this. So
everything's alleged, of course.
I'm on Klayman's email list somehow. He's real big on all caps. Homie sends everything in all caps, like big long paragraph subject lines. Letting you know the news of the day.
That is interesting.
That's interesting. Yeah. Wonder where that.
Should we head to a new segment we've got for this year? I'm excited about this one. I think there's, it's early in the year. We don't have too many mulligans to have just yet. But listen, in golf, when bad shots happen, there's a mulligan ball. When fire, water, or other damage happens, there's Serve Pro. Thankfully, the pros at Serve Pro know how to make any mess, both on and off the course, like it never even happened. We're going to use this segment all year long to check in to request mulligans when we want a callback, a mea culpa, if you will, on a take that we've had. And I'll go first in this one. I'll volunteer. I'll stand up here and apologize, if you will, or ask for a mulligan to say, when I commented Wednesday on the Rory interview, I read all the all of the aggregation of Rory's appearance on the Stick to Football podcast. I saw the bizarre victory laps on Twitter, and now I'm even more confused. I went and actually listened to the episode this past weekend. Golf.com called it a stunning reversal of Rory's stance on LIV. There's almost nothing at all representing any kind of reversal on this. And Phil, of course, took to social media to take a victory lap on this. This is the part that he was taking a victory lap on, which was Rory saying, I think what LIV has done, it's exposed the flaws in the system of what golf has, because we're all supposed to be independent contractors and we can pick and choose what tournaments we want to play. But I think what LIV and the Saudis have exposed is that you're asking for millions of dollars to sponsor these events, and you're not able to guarantee to the sponsors that the players are going to show up. I can't believe the PGA Tour has done so well for so long. End quote. This is not new. Like, they said this as of like August of 2022 when they came up with the new structure for PGA Tour events to say, like, hey, we are going to go to sponsors and say, here's who's going to show up for your events and here's how we're going to create value and all of this. Like, this was not a stunning reversal. So Phil took that and quoted and said, this quote and many others made by Rory today probably weren't easy to say. Let's not use this as an opportunity to pile on. Rather, it's time for me and others to let go of our hostilities and work towards a positive future. Rahm signing is turning into a bridge to bring both sides together, as evidenced by the many comments today and a month ago about changing the rules for the Ryder Cup so Jon and others can play. So let's use it as such. Until an agreement is reached, it will be business as usual for both sides, but hopefully without the needless disdain. So the guy who drew up the bylaws of this breakaway league and the guy that started a lawsuit titled Mickelson et al., versus the PGA Tour, now wants to let go of all the hostilities because of this stunning reversal from Rory McIlroy. Greg Norman said, the reason I say I appreciate Rory to fall on his sword to some degree is the fact that he did judge us by not knowing the facts. He judged us on other people's thoughts and opinions. I say, hey, thank you, Rory. This is a significant turning point for everybody. And Brooks Koepka also took to social media to do a sipping tea meme, the Kermit sipping tea meme, as if Rory had changed his stance on all this. But man, guys, if you listen to that interview, that was not what was included in there at all. The one comment he did say was the one thing he kind of reflected on. He said, I was maybe a little judgmental of the guys who went to LIV Golf at the start, and I think it was a bit of a mistake on my part because I now realize that not everyone is in my position or in Tiger Woods' position. So I think that he's speaking to the Poulters or GMAX or whatever it might be to say, like, look, maybe I was a little hard on you guys for going. Like, you're not making bank like your boy over here is, and maybe you need that. Stenson was broke. He had to go. We know that. But
that's true.
He also said this, I don't begrudge anyone for going and taking the money and doing something different, but don't try to burn the place down on your way out. I think it's just created this division that will hopefully stop soon because I think it's the best thing for golf too. So to that, I would ask Mr. Mickelson, which of these two categories do you think you would fit in terms of, maybe the guys that aren't that financially well off? You recently took to Twitter to claim you're almost a billionaire now. Or maybe like he also is referring to the guys like don't burn the place down on your way out. Like Mickelson et al. Might have, I would tend to think you might fall into that category. So I'm ready for this weird, just grandstanding propaganda machine to just, I'm ready for all this to be over and done. It's so nauseating to just the ounce of grace that Rory showed in this to like look back and be like, you know what? I was, a little bit, high on my own horse a little bit, paraphrasing, of course, on kind of my stance on. I viewed things through the lens I wanted to see them. He never complimented LIV. He never complimented the format, never said a positive thing about the league, never said anything about the hope for the future other than say maybe it'll be its own separate part of the season at some point, like a 2-month sprint. At some point, it was not to say LIV Golf is taking over or that it's been a positive thing for the golf world at all. He said competition was good for the PGA Tour, but it was not a reversal in any means. And I would like my mulligan because I read the aggregation going into Wednesday and did not represent it very fairly. So hand up.
I appreciate you whipping that around at the end because the whole time I'm like, what are you
apologizing for?
I'm apologizing for not having this information when we went to air on Wednesday.
Your apology to them, maybe?
Tyler's only reading the headlines. He's not reading the articles.
I apologize for only reading the headlines. That's my fault. I'm supposed to be above that, and I was not. I hate when people do that with our show and take the context out of it, and I strongly recommend that everyone go and actually listen to it if if you want to have an opinion on this story. So hand up, guys. That's on me. I'll like a mulligan
Well,
on that.
like it never even happened.
That's right.
Exactly.
Well done.
All right, I can go next. I'm not. Mine's not nearly as serious. But I did credit on our Trap Draw Goals podcast. It is the Reap Year. I credited Clarence Thomas with the quote, I know it when I see it, in reference to what constitutes pornography. That was, in fact, Justice Potter Stewart's quote from his opinion on the 1964 Supreme Court case Jacobellis versus Ohio, Randy. So I want to issue an apology. I would like a mulligan with Justice Stewart, and shout out to his family.
Yeah, and I almost would take half of my mulligan on that. I feel like we should have known that too. We should have called you off that one, and that's a tough.
I always thought that was a Clarence Thomas. I thought that.
I think I've heard you say it so many times that I thought
maybe I thought that one into existence, but it's Justice Potter Stewart. So I wanted to correct the record there.
Good stuff. Randy, you want to go next?
Sure. Mine is very much not serious, and in fact has nothing to do with golf because I got nothing to walk back, boys. I'm batting 1,000. I in lieu of, if people are not familiar with the Trap Draw, that's our other very serious podcast we do here at No Laying Up. This week is going to be another Ball Knowers football edition, where we're going to be talking a lot about the NFL. And in that vein, I need to make an apology to Jordan Love, quarterback of the Green Bay Packers. I have not believed the hype all year. I've gone on record saying I think he stinks, and I'm here to make a total 180. I want to walk that back. Over his last 7 games this season, including today's victory over the Chicago Bears, my guy is completing about 70% of his passes, 68.9 to be exact. He's thrown 16 touchdowns, 1 interception. They've won 5 of those 7 games to capture the last playoff spot in the NFC. I like Jordan Love. I see it. I see it now. He's super aggressive, trying to fit the ball in. He's playing offense quite literally. And I want to apologize to him, Green Bay Packers fans, and our good friend Bob Sturm. I'm hoping my distaste for Jordan Love will go away like it never even happened, Neil. How about that?
Well done.
Hey, that's big of you, Randy.
That's good stuff from all of us in the
check out the
State.
Trap
Thank
Draw
you.
this week
Thank you,
for more hot NFL takes.
Mine, I honestly haven't had a bad take in a full year, so I'm gonna go all the way back to what really stuck in my craw, Neil, is I'm gonna go back and apologize. I would love to issue a mea culpa for my play on the Bay course 1 year ago. I've been thinking about it. My wife played exceptional golf in the match between Pyhowski's versus Schuster's, and I just completely let her down. It was my first round with new equipment. I'm topping drives. I'm just beside myself. Invasion of the Body Snatchers stuff out there. Punted away, took an L to the Schusters. And I just haven't stopped thinking about it. So I would like to issue a mea culpa, an apology for my play. I know there's no way to really make this one like it never even happened. The video evidence is out there. The only way to do that would be to challenge you to another match. Maybe we can get that on the books for this spring or summer. But that really came back in full force as I'm hearing Kisner and Smiley talking about going out to the Bay course and having a great time. I'm seeing all the people posting photos from the Bay course. I'm like, I gotta issue a statement about this because I don't think I ever really did. And
bad memes.
That's what I had to say.
It seems like Justine's been playing a lot more golf and will continue to than my wife Carson. So I don't know if I want to schedule that match. might need to.
In that case, I would issue the
Postpone.
put public pressure on Neil to get back in the arena, to get his wife, get her out to the range, get that baby dialed, and then get her out to the range, and then we'll set a date.
I'll pass along the note after this.
All right, thanks.
All right, Neil, we're going to throw it to you next. You missed our preview, our happy hour show on Wednesday. We did some superlatives from 2023. We did some predictions for 2024, and the people wanted to hear your superlatives and your predictions as well. So you're going to give them to us right here now, which is, of course, Chris Kirk going to win a signature event. I believe was one of your predictions you had.
No, it was not. But I listened to the season preview. Was bummed I couldn't make it on Wednesday, but I loved all the stuff you guys brought up. The Tiger tampon incident, I totally forgot about that. The first Larry Klayman stuff was great. Randy, I had it on my list on Wednesday. I had a bagged milk award, And I just wanted to call out the Canadian Open for, Nick Taylor making that putt. I think that was like kind of the lasting memory I had. Like, what an epic finish that tournament. And it was good to see the Canadian Open finally catch a dub after getting bodied by the PGA Tour 2 years in a row. And, they're gonna get a lot of mileage out of this. They changed their logo and included the silhouette of Nick Taylor in there. And as they should. Normally I'd probably make fun of something like this of like, oh, you're taking, kind of whiffs of like, let's take the blocky stuff and run with it. But I think this was kind of cool. And I like this logo and I like what they're doing here. So I just wanted to give them the Bag Milk Award. I had another one, the Fredo Award. No graphic for this one, but basically Ches, I can't believe that he signed the mule letter. Let me down like that. It's just, I knew it was you. Yeah. It broke my heart, Ches.
Broke my heart.
But it is what it is. So I have a couple of
big Reno
awards.
guy too, Ches. Didn't he win in Reno? He's got to watch his back. Don't go fishing.
Oh no.
I know. So
Randy, that's a spoiler for Godfather 2.
The two awards I do want to give out. The first is the annual Prestige Worldwide Award given to the sponsor with the name. You have no idea what they do. So past winners, of course, Megacorp is the original Prestige Worldwide Award winner. I think they have graduated from this bracket just with Harmon winning the Open. Like they're getting so much burn with JT Poston playing well. So I think they're firmly like people know it's a logistics company. Velocity Global won last year. So normally you can just kind of follow Billy Horschel around. This year, it's really a toss-up between Lineage, which is JT's shirt sponsor. Do you guys know what Lineage does?
Yes, because you asked JT 60 questions about it.
75 times.
In Hawaii. So
it's a frozen foods logistics company. Unbelievable. They got a big ass warehouse right here after you come over the bridge from Staten Island. Unbelievable. But I think I'm going to give it to BDO, which is Horschel's newest sponsor. Do you guys know what BDO does?
Logistics.
BDO.
Whatever I was going to come up with was not appropriate.
Financial services.
Close. Tax, accounting, services.
Yeah.
But just BDO. Like what is that? It's just a big ass letters on a hat. Like it cracks me up when I see
big dick oversight.
Yeah, like
big dick organization.
What are we doing? Yo, we got a guy that works at BDO in the chat. Hell yeah, Brian. I'm happy to have you. Giving you a shout out. But you guys are the 2023 Prestige Worldwide Award winners. Please take that back to your executives and let them know. And then I do want to award the worst commercial of 2023, which I think is just got to be unanimous. You guys, come on. What do you think it is?
RBC.
Oh no, not RBC.
Really?
No, the worst.
No, the Dustin Johnson season aggressive pin commercial was a 2022 deal.
That was
I guess
old.
That was a while ago.
I feel like the Jeter one got a lot of flack.
It's the Jeter one.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
When the golf flights are grounded and then he runs into the wolf halfway through.
No, he doesn't run into the wolf. That's the whole thing.
He sees the wolf and it's in the woods. I just can't believe it. It's so unbecoming of the captain to do this commercial. And the song is just like, my wife hates me because I just constantly go, I drove all night. Like I get stuck in my head. It's awful. It's the worst commercial of 2023. You guys have any nominees for this category?
Did you think about Badgett? The Badgett commercials always made me angry.
With the guy from Shark Tank, the private flight one.
Yeah, the Shark Tank. I think Elway, the kid and the Elway one was especially gratuitous.
Yeah,
I can see it. I use Badgett a lot, so I don't know. the discount code is great.
Yeah, it kind of cracks me up that like a private aviation company has such a budget commercial. It looked like it was filmed on an iPhone.
Are we sure Badgett? Like, have you heard of that place that's in LA where the guy made up the inside of a fake plane, like a private jet, and he rents it out to influencers? That might be what Badgett actually is. Like, if you just need to fake that you're taking a private flight, like that might be how you do it.
I don't know if I saw any commercials in 23 other than the Jeter commercial.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think if I saw anything else. I feel
nothing about lowering your A1C, because that's
Guardians. Guardians is tough. That one's tough
Yeah.
with the whole Broadway skit. But that's more like on 60 Minutes. I don't see that one as much on golf. Anyway,
I know who needs to get it together on Liberty Mutual. What's going on here with the emu? Like the mustache guy. Like,
there's no worse vibe than when the commercial thinks that their characters are more beloved than they are.
No, it's just
like I don't give a fuck about the emu and the guy who's like, I don't care if there's a new guy. Just It's the kind of like the Flow industrial complex of now there's like 100. There's a whole Flow extended universe.
I got
Take
another
all
nominee.
that away.
Sorry, the State Street. Where it took me like 25 watches to understand like the tournament where they take away the middle clubs, and Annika and Finau try to play. That might be the worst one. That's
I think I would nominate, Neil. It's been out for a couple years now, and it seems like a great organization. So I hate to pick on them, but Volunteers of America, that commercial always kind of
with the guy like fighting himself in the street.
Yeah, that one always kind of takes me.
That's tough. Yeah,
I'm just no thanks.
On a total next, you got any more categories?
No, that's it. But I have some predictions I'd like to share with you. Oh, well, I did have the garbage plate. Sorry, there was one more. The garbage plate. This is what I'm naming. This was just a superlative for Scotty Scheffler of kind of like how bad his putting was and how historic his ball striking was. And I kind of like it to the garbage plate of like, man, that looks horrible, but apparently it tastes really good. Like it's still like, despite like how ugly the putting was, he still was able to have like a historic season and he won 4 times. Like the guy's a total menace. So Solly, based on your predictions, I'm kind of with you on that. I think Scotty might take over the world this year, even if his putting sucks. It's kind of wild, but I don't think he's going anywhere because he's doing this and his putting sucks. It feels even more sustainable, which is wild to me.
Interesting.
All right. So I got a couple predictions. You guys asked for newcomers. I'm going to keep an eye on.
What is this? The What the Hell is Happening award? Is that an award or that's a prediction?
Oh, no, I'm going to move on to Cody. You can scrap that one. I don't even know that one was for.
Stupid. Why did I
put that one behind the paywall?
Stupid.
Bag of sand? Yeah.
No, you guys asked for who's going to be like kind of make a leap. I got my eyes on Leah Harvey Oswald from Denny McCarthy. I think he kind of strikes me as maybe the next country music sensation. Whiffs of Eric Cole. He hits the ball great. Seems like he's got just enough distance to compete pretty much everywhere on tour. So I keep an eye on him. I also want to call out that I think
the prediction can't be keep an eye on him. What's your prediction for?
Well, no, that was more of a newcomer. That's not a prediction yet. You guys you said at the end of the pod, like pick a newcomer.
He a newcomer? I don't mean to hang you out here.
He's been on tour since 2018.
Okay.
He's the number 35 ranked player in the world.
And I was going to say that too.
He hasn't won.
How could he turn into Eric Cole? Wouldn't Eric Cole turn more into Denny McCarthy?
Maybe. All right, bad take.
You think he's going to have a nice
I'll apologize on the next month's Surf Pro segment for this. Okay, this is a prediction. I predict that these 3 guys are going to win this season. All 3 of them. Bo Hostler, Sungjae Im, and Russell Henley.
Okay. Sure.
Okay.
And I think Sungjae's 25. I'm feeling maybe a breakout, whiffs of a breakout. He's trending. He's playing really well. He played well this week. He played well late in the fall.
People
forgot time for him to start doing some stuff.
He's got to go.
Yeah, I'm ready to. I'm like we gotta hit the hole at this point. So, and I feel like Bo Hostler is also kind of sniffing around, maybe a win in a kind of a second tier event at some point. And I think Russell Henley is just going to keep doing what he does. Like, oh yeah, I'm maybe go win the Honda, and continue to. You guys won't recognize me in the airport, but I'm going to make like $75 million over the course of my career. So those 3 guys are going to win. I think Justin Thomas is going to win at Valhalla. I think it fits the narrative. Say again.
Practically home game.
Models are off the charts. I think kind of has a knack for the PGA Championship. So I'm going to throw that one out there. Randy, of course I loved your Rory prediction at Valhalla, but I feel like JT. I'm pretty bullish on JT next season. And I also predict that Matt Fitzpatrick is going to win his second U.S. Open at Pinehurst #2.
Wow.
I think it sets up really well for him when he likes to wail on driver, and obviously he's a grinder. I just kind of have I got a feeling, a Crenshaw feeling about Fitzy doing it again.
He looked bulky this week. The speed training appears to be continuing.
Yeah, which I think sets up well for that course. And then of course Nelly's going to win a major. So we're gonna tick another one off the list.
For 11 more years, baby.
Hey, let's go slow and steady. And then I'm not ready to make a Masters call. I'm really struggling with this one, but I've narrowed it down to 4 guys. So that kind of a prediction, but I think Scotty, Rory, Cantlay, or Jason Day. It can only be one of those 4 for the Masters. And I will make a pick before the Masters, but I kind of have a weird feeling about Jason Day. I've always thought that Augusta fit his game really well. He putts it well. I think he deserves a lot of credit for a comeback last year. And he seemed, he played well this week. So maybe we'll see him in his lunar pants out at Augusta doing big things this year.
Feels like he's finished in the top 5 like 10 times. That might
so that's it. That's all I got for you.
Those are all
good
the
stuff.
years Spieth won. Yeah, thank you, Neil. Thank you. I'm back on the Sungjae thing. I almost gave Sungjae a superlative. I had him. I was trying to think up a Rick Barnes memorial. Nobody consistently does less with more, and Sungjae was going to be my recipient for that.
I agree with that. It's pretty frustrating. I mean, I feel like we don't really, I feel like Xander, same deal, right? I feel like I'm with you, Randy. You said it on the Wednesday show. Like Cantlay, it's about the only thing left. He has to win a major. Like FedEx Cup, there's not. Yeah, like I don't think winning the Players really makes him any more. Doesn't make him any more special. Like he's plateaued until he wins a major. So I feel like he's another guy that has to get one of those this year.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
On our goals pod, which you can also catch on the Trap Draw, we made a point this year to quote celebrate dubs as they come along. We create a Slack channel about celebrating your dubs or your W's if you don't know what dub stands for. Maybe I don't know if we do it weekly or whatnot, but we'll have to do a check-in as we can. Any dubs we want to celebrate this week?
I had DJ, well, I don't want to steal your thunder, but guys, I want to pat myself on the back yesterday. I woke up at 4:45 a.m. on a Saturday in order to beat the traffic to drive up to Vail to ski a powder day yesterday. So that is me giving myself a dub.
Massive.
And it was a great day.
Hell yeah, Randy!
You beat the lift lines.
Beat the lift lines. Yeah,
that's great, Randy. I'm on a 7-day workout streak, 10+ strain. So we're on our way to 31 straight, 10+ days. And we're 14 miles into our 500-mile quest. So we're doing some things, Randy. Yeah, I had a wedding last night, and I woke up this morning. I got a workout in today, even though I didn't really want to. So starting to get the habit in there.
Hell yeah.
Dubs.
We need a soundboard thing. Yeah, for a dub.
I got my first official oil painting in the books. For those that haven't listened to the pod, I was just rapturous in my acclaim for Bob Ross. Apparently a big deal. 400 some episodes of The Joy of Painting. I stumbled upon one at my in-laws on Christmas Eve and was just transfixed. And so I was like, I think I'm gonna go to the paint store when we get back and just buy a bunch of stuff. And so I bought a bunch of stuff, went down in the basement for a couple hours, cranked some tunes, Neil, and spun up a painting, 1 of 12. I said I was gonna do 1 a month. And so just out there making some happy accidents down in the basement. So happy with the results of number 1.
DJ, I was very impressed with your painting.
It was really good. It was really good.
I would love to take more credit. This is the genuine situation of like, if you just follow the instructions, it's really hard to mess it up. Like
I could not do that.
I hope nobody does, so nobody sees that like, oh, actually that was way easier than it looked. But thank you.
No, I'll see, Cody. I don't know if you can whip that painting up in time, but that would be. I'm sure the people would love to see that. But guys, I had a dub today. I shot 2 under, and I'm absolutely tickled.
Did you post the score?
Score is posted.
Okay,
Dropped my handicap by 0.6 shots. It was a hybrid tee. It wasn't even it wasn't an up tee. It was a hybrid tee. 3-putted par and had a water ball in there too. But shot 37-33 this morning at Timuquana, and it's coming. It's 2 rounds in a row under par. I haven't done that in probably close to 3 years now, but it's starting to come out the window. Had a great lesson. And I'm tickled with how it's going right now. But on a better note, Cody does have the photo of DJ's painting if you want to see it.
It's
look at that.
So good.
Great podcast audio here for those listening to the car.
You gotta watch live. You gotta do both. Give us the view on both. Give us a download on both.
It's the view out DJ's house in Milwaukee. That is gorgeous.
Lake Michigan. It's the Wisconsin River there.
Is it actually? Did Bob say it was like a specific mountain?
No, I think he's heavily influenced by Alaska and his time there, but so I think it's just kind of a random. That's the other thing is there's 400 some episodes. They're pretty much all the same. There's usually a mountain and some water and some trees, but so I'm gonna have to figure out a way to keep it interesting. Right.
Cody, did you know Bob Ross was a 20-year military guy, master sergeant in the Air
Drill
Force?
sergeant.
I did. I grew up watching Bob Ross like religiously. I think me and my my good friend Craig Miller, which he listens to the podcast, weird shout out there, but we actually used to skip the period immediately after lunch. We would go get some Taco John's. Shout out to anybody that'll chow down on some potato
taco
Lays.
place that sold like tater tots or something.
Yeah, potato Lays, respect. All right, and we probably like smoke something that we weren't supposed to, just watch Bob Ross and eat burritos. It was so fun. There's so many days I wish I could go back 20 years ago now and just be like, man, just put me right back there.
It's so relaxing.
I will say this.
They're all on YouTube for free as well. It's great.
DJ, I have attempted this one time. You're making it sound a lot easier than it actually is. This is a masterful job.
It really is really
Thank
good.
Thank you.
I was pretty impressed by that.
I've been watching a lot of YouTube stuff. My goal by the end of the year, we're adjusting for some sub goals. I think just to show like how untalented I am, I'm gonna do a portrait just to show what that looks like and embrace the full George W. Bush
a self-portrait
comp. I don't know about a self-portrait,
Okay.
but I'll do a portrait of someone. Maybe I'll
Okay.
recreate his Putin portrait.
Somebody's asked me to recreate the Icarito painting.
Icarito, yeah.
Yeah,
I was gonna say like whoever wins the FedEx Cup, you should do a portrait
That's
of him.
interesting. Maybe whoever wins tourist sauce.
Oh, yeah.
On that note, a bit of an announcement for our loyal listeners. We'll be taking a bit of a break on the Sunday recaps. I believe it's going to be 3 straight Sundays. The boys
will be taking a break. The episodes will continue.
Episodes keep going. We will be turning the reins over to Kevin Van Valkenburg and a rotating crew that will be co-hosting with him on the Sunday nights. But we are off to film season 9 of Tourist Sauce. We are about 6 months behind when we usually film it. We usually space them out by 1 year, but this one, for a variety of reasons, is spaced out 18 months. So Tourist Sauce Wisconsin will be kicking off here quite soon here to wrap out round out the month of January. Episodes
tough timing, big snowstorm coming here.
They're brought to you by our friends at Precision Pro. The episodes will be out in a few months, but if you don't hear from us for quite some time, the episodes will be here. Keep downloading, keep listening, but we will be rotating out and stepping away from pro golf for a little bit. A much needed break, and very excited to get to our destination, which is of course remaining a secret.
We're not saying, so quit asking.
Quit asking. It's a total Scotty putting situation. I don't know what you're
exactly right.
Yeah. Or really a Hovland Joe Mayo situation.
A couple other things we got to track.
But I mean, come on, use your imagination. It's fucking January 7th. Like, where do you think we're going? Come on.
Y'all ever seen the Red Sea?
Trap Draw Goals podcast is live. If you're wondering why we're calling out dubs, the reap year is upon us. You can go listen to that and understand, what the hell we're talking about. And then in the pro shop, we got new head covers, putter covers, other accessories. Will be live later this week. We'll be sending out our email newsletter. So if you want more info on that or to be the first to know, that's newsletter.nolayingup.com. Solly, that's all I've got.
That is it for the first live recap show of 2024. We will be back. The next one will be at Pebble Beach for the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. We're going to have a lot of content from the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. More details on that in the coming weeks towards the end of the month. But we're greatly looking forward to that as the big guns of the golf world get all back together here at one of the world's great golf destinations. It's going to be an absolute banger this year. Very excited about that. So we'll have normal episodes coming out every week during the week, as well as as we mentioned, continue to have Sunday night episodes. But we thank you guys for tuning in live. Cody, thank you for running the 1s and 2s.
See
everyone live in the chat, everyone listening in their car, everyone watching on Twitter or on Instagram or on YouTube, wherever you're watching this. Greatly appreciate your support. Congratulations again to Chris Kirk as we put week 1 of the PGA Tour season in the books. We'll see you back here soon. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.